What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your main man, Elon Winning Ways, and I'm coming to you today with another video lesson. Today's video lesson is going to be on entry points. Okay, it's very critical to make sure that when you're in the market placing trades, you guys, that you get in at the right entry points. All right. In this particular trade right here, this is the Australian dollar versus the U.S. dollar. It's about 1:52 in the morning, so the U.S. session is closed right now. The U.S. dollar session has its highest volume between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as you can tell right now, it is well after that time. So right now, the Australian dollar is in session from between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. and 2 a.m. in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So the Australian dollar is going to be the dominant pair in this scenario, okay? And so what we're going to be looking for is, when do we want to get in on this trade? When do we want to make a trade on this pair? When would be the smart time to get in? And how do we make sure that when we do get in, that we get in at the best entry point, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, entry points. So as we talked about in the prior hangout that we had, Volume 6, Winning Ways Trading Hangout Volume 6, we talked about the importance of making sure that you trade during the market hours for a particular pair. You shouldn't be trading a pair that is not in session. And if you do trade a pair where maybe only one of the two pairs are in session, you want to make sure that unless there's some serious news taking place, that you are playing that trade based off of it being in session. So, for example, the Australian dollar is in session. We expect for a lot of volume to be taking place because it is in session. So therefore, as you can see, the buying power for the Australian dollar is pretty strong right now. You look at what's taking place just over past couple hours, really past 2 hours, it's been going up pretty much. You even look earlier in the day when the Australian dollar first opened, it went up right out the gates, retraced a little bit, and then from there it continued to go up, and as you can see, it's still going up. Okay, so what would be the proper entry point on this particular trade right here? I actually caught the trade in the group, the signal group that we have, at 0.76 thousand. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys how exactly I was able to do that, how you will be able to do the same thing when you recognize what to look for when you're making your entry points. Okay, so what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I like to start off generally on a daily chart or a 4-hour chart. For this example, we're going to start off just on the 4-hour chart. So as you can see on a 4-hour chart, this particular pair is beneath the averages. And let's go ahead and let's throw the other averages in here because I didn't even do that. Okay. So now we have the two pillars in here. All right. We have the four brothers and the two pillars, and you have the X factor. Right now it's beneath the white line. All right. So let's go ahead and let's see exactly how we were able to tell that the uptrend was taking place. So right now the market is moving beneath the averages and beneath the pillars on the 4-hour chart. We go to the 1-hour chart. Now the market is starting to uptrend up into the green brother, and it's starting to surpass it. It's starting to break the resistance of the green brother. 30-minute chart. Now look, the market is starting to break the resistance of the green and the blue brother. So that means that the market is moving up, ladies and gentlemen. 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, 30-minute chart. it's breaking the resistance that we have in place. 15-minute chart. It's clearly broken the green and the blue. The X factor is above the white line and continuing to move up. Not only that, it's approaching the orange pillar now. So we have even more confirmation of an uptrend. We go to the 5-minute chart. Look at that. Not only has it broke the two pillars, not only has it came close to the orange pillar, but it's broke the resistance of the orange pillar and it's also broke the resistance of the red pillar. So now we know we're in a solid uptrend. So now right here, once it really makes its moves above these two pillars, ladies and gentlemen, I'm for sure that, it's going to be a good time to buy, number one. Number two, I'm looking for the proper entry point. I'm looking for, okay, when do I want to get in? And what I like to do for that, ladies and gentlemen, is I like to pull up what I like to call, we talked about it before, the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. So we pull this up right here, okay? And as you can see, we can zoom in a little bit. We can see the market is still moving up, continuing to move up. When I placed this trade, ladies and gentlemen, at 0.76 thousand, I saw that it broke these two pillars, number one. So I knew that it was going to be an uptrend. Then what I do to get the best entry points, I go to the 1-minute chart. Trading, guys, is really like surgery. You really have to know how to pinpoint entry points in order to get the best, maximum results. So once I got to the 1-minute chart, I looked around and I actually called the trade. Let me tell you guys exactly when I called it. Okay, so I called the trade about 30 minutes ago, right? So 30 minutes ago would be right around here in this region. Okay, so I called the trade right around here. And what I saw, number one, is that about 15 minutes before I called the trade, it had attempted to break the support of the red pillar, which it failed to do. And once it failed to break that support line on the 1-minute chart, you see some bull candles. You see some green bullish candles. You see it slowly creeping through resistance of the green and the blue brothers. It retraced a little bit, but you see it's no longer breaking it. Support is holding firmly. Support is holding firmly. So once I see that support is starting to hold pretty firmly right around here, I say, you know what? I think it was this candle right here. I said, okay, yeah, support is really starting to hold pretty firmly. And then I see the uptrend is continuing to take place. So pretty much what I did, ladies and gentlemen, is I said, you know what? 0.76 thousand would be the proper entry to get in on this trade. Because number one, if we go to the 5-minute chart, we can confirm that it just broke these two pillars. And over here, when it tried to break support, support held, and it continued to move in an uptrend. So this means that, number one, the Australian dollar is in session, so therefore it should have the most volume and it should continue to be the dominant pair of the two. Number two, we have a solid uptrend taking place. And number three, generally right before this market closes, as it's just now closing at 2 a.m. in the morning, market makers like to give it a nice little spike right before the session closes. Generally, most of the time you'll see that take place. So market makers will give that pair a nice little spike right before the market session changes over. So I knew that number one, it failed to break support, like we said. And it's the dominant pair of the two. And it's running out of time. It only had about 30 minutes left before the session was over. So that's why I went ahead and said, you know what? Our entry point is going to be 0.76 thousand. And as you can see from that entry point that I made, It continued to uptrend. It continued to uptrend. Support held. And as soon as I knew the support held right here, I said, you know what? It's only a matter of time before it takes a big spike. And that's exactly what it did. In the past 15 minutes, it's climbed over 200 and now 30 pips. 230 pips, really. Just in the past, 15 minutes? And that's because you had a lot of confirmation. As we just explained here, you guys, you had a lot of confirmation of what took place. And so that's why we were able to tell what was going to happen. Now, you also see, number one, you look at the RSI down here that I just pulled up. You see that it's sort of in the middle, but you see that even on the RSI, it's starting to uptrend. It's starting to uptrend. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, like we talked about, this red candle, this bearish candle tried to break support, which it failed to do. It was very low on the RSI. And then from there, when it bounced on the RSI, it was higher, which proved even more confirmation that it was an uptrend. It consolidated for about 15, 20 minutes right here. But as you can see, even when it consolidated, it was still moving in an uptrend. And then between the confirmation of it still being in session and it being close to the session being over with, that gave me enough confirmation to say, you know what, you guys, it's time for us to place this trade. And a good point to get in is right here where it's sort of consolidating but still uptrending at 0.76 thousand. So we placed the trade. Everybody who took the trade at 2 o'clock in the morning should be in profit mode. These should probably close out right about now, around this time. A good 200 pip winner. I think I reported on the signal group 100 pips, but you could have got back in on the pullback retracement. But that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you find good entry points. And that's how you find good entry points, ladies and gentlemen. You want to first, start off on the daily chart or the 4-hour chart. See where it is. In this instance, it is below the averages and it is below the pillars. 4-hour chart, still below it, but moving up. See the X factors coming around. Another thing, you see how low it is in the RSI on the daily chart, right? Now watch this when I go to the 4-hour chart, watch how on the RSI it gets even higher. On the 1-hour chart, watch how it gets even higher. 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. Look at that. 1 minute. Starting to come down now a little bit. But that pretty much lets you know also that this thing is moving in an uptrend. And with each chart that I moved it on, as you saw, it broke through the brothers and it also broke through the pillars. So then from there, in order to find the proper entry point, we went to the 1 minute chart, we zoomed in, we waited for the bounce. It bounced right here, support held, consolidated, but still moved in an uptrend. It never reversed direction, and support held, which is very important. And that gave us enough confirmation to say, you know what, this is a good entry point to get in right around here, while support is holding and it's consolidating, because it's only a matter of time before it has its break. And that's exactly what it did up here. Now we're 220, 230 pips. Probably going to be even more when it's all said and done in the money. So that's how you take proper entry points, ladies and gentlemen. Practice, practice, practice. Go out there and implement these strategies. It's the exact same thing with the sell. It's just the exact opposite. With the sell, you will look to see the market above the brothers and above the pillars on the 4-hour chart. And then as you get closer into the 1 minute chart, you should expect to see it beneath. You should expect to see the market beneath the brothers and the 2 pillars. Okay? So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys learned something about how to make good entry points. Take this lesson, run with it, go out there and win big. It's your main man, England Winning Ways. And as always, I look forward to see you guys at the top and not from the top. You all have a good evening and God bless.